Time for the market report. Once again, prices slipping down.
That they are, and we're going to look into that along with some rural broadband impact. But first, the numbers. What were last week's biggest gains and losses? And then a closer look into rural broadband and its impact on the business side of farming. So, markets closed last Friday, still trending down with a few exceptions. Let's take a look. Last week's biggest gain, sugar, up nearly 3/4 of a cent, a near 4% increase from the previous week. Last week's biggest loss, wheat, down 51 cents, a near 8% decrease from the previous week. Rural broadband, the move to bring high-speed internet to rural communities all across the U.S. It's been an ongoing project for years with much progress. With that progress comes an opportunity for ag producers to help their bottom lines. MSU ag economist Devon Mills sat down with me to discuss these opportunities. So you're involved with getting broadband to rural areas in the state. Tell us about that, please.
So a lot of money recently has gone into bringing broadband to areas in Mississippi that do not currently have it. There's been a lot of money from COVID relief funding going into Mississippi and also all the states across the country into developing broadband infrastructure, bringing it to unserved populations, and we're going to see in the next few years a lot of development in that space, bringing broadband to places and people who do not have it currently.
Well, you are an economist, so how is getting broadband to rural areas helping their economy?
So broadband is so important for our rural areas. As we know nowadays, everything is done online, from e-commerce, so purchasing things online, education. A lot of people are taking classes online to further their education, get advanced degrees. Telehealth is a big thing post-COVID, so doctors' visits online, so all that helps the rural economy. And also for our rural areas that are farming dependent, ag is becoming increasingly technology dependent and intensive, so having a strong broadband connection on the farms for farmers helps them stay up to date with the latest technologies and increase the productivity on their operations.
Well, what does the broadband situation look like across Mississippi?
So in Mississippi right now, so our latest data that came out in December 2023 showed that across Mississippi around 20% of Mississippians do not have broadband at their residence. So when I say broadband, that's high-speed internet with 100 megabit per second download speed and a 20 megabit per second upload speed. So if you're interested in seeing what your internet speed is at your house, of course, when you get a subscription, your internet service provider should tell you what your speed is about to be, but you could also do a speed test on your home.
We also know that Mississippi is a bit of a microcosm of what's going on in other states in the U.S. So how similar is Mississippi to other states with this broadband issue?
So Mississippi has always historically lagged behind our neighboring states in terms of broadband access. So that's why it's really great and really important that we're getting all this funding into our state to build out broadband infrastructure. So with the Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Program, it's shortened BEAD, that's what they call it. So we're getting $1.2 billion across Mississippi to build out broadband infrastructure to all our unserved locations. So that's really great funding.
So does this also include fiber?
Yes. So under the BEAD program, so that's that $1.2 billion pot of money, fiber is the preferred technology for internet service providers to build out to these unserved locations. People across the state might have been seeing fiber being built out in their towns and by their homes, on their streets. That's when people are oftentimes digging up the ground in front of your house and laying those fiber optic cables. Fiber has become the gold standard of broadband technology in recent years. It's really reliable, it's really fast, and it's kind of what people are looking to get in their homes. But of course, if fiber is not available to people, there's a bunch of other technologies that can get broadband to their house.
And that leads to an interesting logistical question. If they're going to be running fiber underneath the ground, I suppose they've got to be very careful to avoid fields for all the tilling.
Yes. So our internet service providers are working along our city planners, and making sure that the fiber lines aren't hitting, sewer, electric, any kind of existing infrastructure. So they're being careful to map out and make sure that the broadband lines aren't going to be affecting any sort of utilities.
Well, if you're in a rural community and you're looking at getting broadband to your community, where can they go to get that information?
So our state broadband office, it's a recently started office. It started in late 2022. They're overseeing all of this broadband infrastructure and all of this broadband funding that's going into Mississippi. They're located in Jackson. They're the Broadband Expansion and Accessibility Office of Mississippi. BEAM is their acronym. And their website, broadbandms.com. That's where you can go to do your speed test. And you can also figure out where funding is and then where unserved and served locations in the state are with regards to broadband.
And that's it for a deeper look into the markets.